Hi, I'm Sasha from Coding Rooms.
Hi, this is Angela from Coding Rooms, and today is our first of many weekly podcasts where we kind of discuss our product journey up till now and kind of give you guys a sneak peek into what we've been working on and upcoming new features and all this fun stuff.
Right. So, first thing I want to do is introduce our product updates for the week. So, today we'll be covering a sneak peek of our new assessments functionality that's currently in a closed beta. And we'll also be talking about our product journey and a bit to sort of center the first episode of our weekly podcast around the product progress that we've made, where we are right now product-wise, and what you can expect to come in the next few weeks from our side, from our team at Coding Rooms.
So yeah, I mean, a lot of fun stuff to talk about here, and let's kick it off with this week. We have a lot more new team members, very exciting stuff. I think we have a lot of more community.
Right.
Yeah,
yourself included.
Myself included, but I think especially we're very excited about our community outreach. We really have growing numbers in terms of our user base, and we want to make sure that we create a kind of friendly culture here where you guys can feel like we're just like you guys. We're normal people. We want to know you guys. We want to communicate with you. So, this is kind of our thought behind talking to you guys face to face like this as well. It's just giving you a sneak peek into our lives.
Especially on a weekly basis. Right?
Yeah,
so
definitely.
The overall flavor of the podcast will be very free form, and it's meant to be a pleasant and enjoyable listen that also provides a certain amount of value for you as a Coding Rooms user. And I'm sure that the overall production quality will get better as we get better at doing this, but we have to start somewhere.
Yeah.
So actually, why don't I start with that a little bit? So on Coding Rooms this week, we just welcomed two new hires, including Angela, who's with me right now at the Coding Rooms HQ. And we're lucky enough to be able to meet in person for a certain part of our team, and the rest of our team is remote. Last week, we did a big release of our, essentially what we're calling V2 of the classrooms view. So now as an instructor, you can see your user list in real time with how many times the user has executed your code, the student has executed their code, if they have any errors in their code, and when they were active last. And all that is updated in real time in the new Sidebar as an instructor, and that was deployed last week.
Yeah, I think it's very exciting in terms of this current learning environment where the teacher already feels like they're very distant from their class, or very without that in-person teaching. Even in person, right? We have other professors who are teaching their students in person, but still remaining 6 feet apart, practicing social distancing. No worries on our part because eye testing that. So I hope you I hope you tested. So, well, it doesn't really matter now,
Yeah, exactly.
So, but to be honest though, I think it's more so that those metrics behind the technology is very insightful, right? The teacher feels like, hey, at least I know that my students at home and really engaged in what I'm talking about instead of just looking at a screen or putting it on the back end while they're cooking or something.
Yeah, exactly. So that's something that's been coming up that we're focusing on more now is not only the real-time engagement, but also after class, to make sure that you can download a more detailed engagement, more so than just an attendance list, and some potential features that we're looking into really center around assessment and automation of the entire assessment workflow for homework as well as in class. So being able to do real-time challenges, and we'll actually cut to a screen share in a little bit where we'll go in depth through the new assessments closed beta. And if you want to sign up for the closed beta, then you can email us at hello@codingrooms. without the so just hello at hello at coding
Hello
at
codingrooms.com.
And we'll be able to reach out on a case-by-case basis to join the closed beta for that tooling. There's still some pieces missing around creation of the questions and creating of the auto grading, the test cases. So we're actually helping users to import that manually now until we have the user interface for that fully set up. So that's another sort of piece of the puzzle, and that's why it's still in closed beta.
I think what's exciting about it too is that we've been getting some interest in this area, especially with maybe even in the future holding some out of the box questions in terms of intro programming kind of questions that are pretty commonly used, but having that kind of question bank so that instructors can easily set up sort of pop quizzes and anything like that.
Yeah, that's another big piece of the assessments product we're looking into, and you can also reach out to us about that. We'll include the ability for instructors to essentially to contribute to a community database of questions that will open up to professors and instructors, teachers who are using coding rooms for their classes. I think that generally covers it as far as product updates from our side. Of course, there's a handful of other things, but I mean, some things that might be interesting for existing users. We plan on launching more infrastructure for communicating our change log and bug fixes as well, and potentially also a more public venue for providing feedback, potentially in a almost discussion type of format, so that users you can see what other users are requesting, and then you can also comment and upvote different features that you might like or different bugs that you're experiencing. And we're definitely making an effort along with this weekly webinar to show how we are making progress on all the different feature requests and any kind of fixes that users would appreciate.
Yeah, especially, I mean, I made a joke to Sasha today about how we want our user base to know we're actually humans, not just like bots behind a screen. Like, I think there's just a lot of fun stuff coming up in terms of getting in touch with us. I think, we're all in our early 20s, and I just want to have a good time with you guys and our user base.
So why don't we transition to that? So the next topic that we had in mind, next segment, if you will, that we wanted to cover was the a bit of background on the coding rooms as a business. So and on us. So I'll kick it off with a bit about myself. So I actually started coding when I was about 11 in Java, and actually on the Arduino platform, and which I've really enjoyed hacking on for a number of years now, and I really like that hardware piece of it, and actually I was a little bit frustrated with how I saw my friends learning, and this is circa 2015. I saw my friends learning in their coding classes in high school, and think AP Computer Science, and they come to me with questions, and of course I was always that coding guy,
the know-it-all.
the tech guy, and so I was always solving these different issues and helping folks learn Java, which was my sort of language of choice at the time, and I thought that there was a better way. So we started working on the IDE technology, which is this online real-time IDE technology, which is now has ended up forming the backbone of the Coding Rooms product, and of course all the innovation that's happened with the IDE, namely IntelliSense and replays and the collaboration piece, and just being able to run like 12, 18, 20 IDEs in one tab and in one browser really required a lot of innovation on our side, and that's actually a product that that we've been working on since 2015. And ultimately, we received seed funding as a company in 2017, and that's when I basically decided that I'm gonna work on coding rooms full time, or work on this technology full time. It wasn't coding rooms yet. We'll work on that technology full time, and so been in this space full time since about 2017, and around that time we were trying to figure out how we could and the IDE technology at the time was quite in its nascent stages, and we were lucky enough to raise money from a number of venture capital firms that really believed in the team and the technology that we were building, but we didn't quite have a use case for it. We didn't understand how it can be bundled into a real product, right? That really helps teachers. And so it took actually a number of years for us to arrive at the Coding Rooms product. We built an open source courseware platform and library that we're also bringing into Coding Rooms now. That was successful in its own right, but we are merging a lot of courseware into Coding Rooms, so you can also expect updates on that front in the coming months. But in basically of May of this year, when the COVID crisis really, I would say it hit sort of in March, right? But mid-March, but at least in the US. But the real clarity of Coding Rooms being a long-term issue that we're going to have to live with, I'd say at least really hit me.
I think it hit all of us
in early May, yeah, and so that's what drove me to build this model, which I believe to date Coding Rooms is still the only product that actually does this in the world, which is a single dashboard for teachers of real-time IDEs. Because anytime I taught a coding class, I was always frustrated by the fact that I didn't know what people were doing. I would walk around.
No, I mean, I agree with that. I mean, I'm just going a little on my personal experiences. It's really just, I'm not an amazing programmer. I mean, I've definitely delved into code and, had at least hoped that I could do a computer science minor, but there's just like certain mental blocks that I just couldn't get past. But I've always liked taking intro coding classes, at least having some knowledge in the field. By the way, I'm mostly in technology consulting, so more of the business side of technology. Like, I love technology and I like all the current trends. I like getting to know about it all from a business side in terms of strategy, in terms of implementation, and how we can really build the best product in terms of user acceptance testing, unit testing, smoke testing. Like, this is kind of how I, my background in technology, being an ex-technology consultant. But especially, I think for me, it was what really helped me when I learned coding, intro coding classes in university, was the lab time. Sitting there with TAs, kind of almost in a workshop-y type environment where, you obviously have been spending like 1 or 2 hours on something and you just don't know what's not working. And those are the times where you learn through practice. And I think anyone who codes will tell you that is the best way to learn, is really spending the time and the exercises to do like that. Yeah, and certainly. I think I can't imagine what students must be going through right now with no in-person lab time. Because the thing is, you always have like the TA sitting right next to you, looking over your shoulder and telling you, oh, that semicolon goes exactly here, and then you're like, where? Like, line number, and like, it's hard to like pinpoint certain things. So what really got me interested to join the team was, I've my father's a professor, a computer science professor, so I've always been in the education industry somewhat, growing up to hearing him talk about it, and he's very passionate about e-learning as well. So I think what got me really interested and enthusiastic is just kind of the timing of things, right? Like, I think we all value, like, especially our generation, is just we love online tools, all these cool apps, out of the box, like, services that you can get online. Like, how do I, reach people from other sides of the world? Like, we grew up with the internet, so... Yeah, and I think that's just it's really solves an issue, is particularly with computer science in this remote environment.
Exactly. Our recording setup.
It'll get better. Like, as we said, it'll get better.
Yeah.
But, enough about us rambling, but I think what's really exciting is, like, as promised, we want to get into the sneak peek portion of this. Is just like, just me kind of demoing the new assessments kind of beta version that you guys will be seeing, that we're really trying to work on.
So there will be more about the Coding Room story in our next weekly podcast, and for now we end with thought of the week. So wait, don't we have to cut to your assessments demo first? Oh yeah, I mean, well, I was thinking, like, however you want to do it. Okay, well, let's cut into it. Let's cut to the demo, sneak peek of the closed beta of the assessment. Okay. Cut. Hi everyone, this is Angela from Coding Rooms, and here at Coding Rooms we like to release new features to always better our product and make sure that we fit our users' needs. So today I really wanted to feature kind of our new assessments functionality in terms of when we log in, and if any instructor wants to in particular create, for example, a pop quiz or a midterm exam through our platform. So here I already logged in from the instructor view, and this is what I see. This is to create any sort of classroom, which is our basic functionality. However, here in its current beta version is the assessments functionality, as you see with my mouse over here. And I'm going to first show you how to create a new assessment. So you click on Create New. I'm going to name this CS 101. I'm going to call it Pop Quiz. I'm going to click here to create the exam. So once the exam is created, I can see in the back end kind of all the users or my students in terms of what they score, in terms of whatever the kind of question structure is that I sign up. Now, this is just for the sake of showing the Create New functionality. Here I'm going to go in more in depth in terms of the student view on what the student would experience in terms of the assessment functionality. If I click on Active, I already have some exams set up previously. I'm going to the one that I tested, and then I'm going to go into it to see kind of the questions. So here I already ran a test of just one student logging in and seeing what they've done correctly or in terms of answering these 4 questions. I'm going to just go in there right now, and for the student, I would essentially enter this link. So I would share this link to my students, and here I'm going to bring up a new window. And as I'm running this link, I would be able to see what it is like in the assessment view. So here, as a student, I'm going to just enter my name, my email, which is probably a .edu email, here for right now, it doesn't really matter what email you input. And I'm going to click Continue. So here you can sign up, but it's not compulsory at this moment. So I could just click Continue as a new user without setting up an account. I'm going to click here to start the exam. So here is currently loading the question that I have to solve.
So as I see on the left over here, it says to fix the solution function to return hello world. So here I'm reading the questions in JavaScript, and I'm going to just replace the coding to solve the problem. So this is what I would do as the student based on this assessment functionality. I'm going to click run. And yeah, as you can see in the terminal here, it successfully ran. So I'm going to go to the next question. And as you can see, a question is already set up. And then because there's 4 questions in total, I just kind of want to run through them quickly right now to show kind of what the platform would look like from the student view. So on the left here, you have obviously your questions. And then on the right here, you have the code or the solution that you have to answer with. So then I'm going to click to the last problem, just to give you guys a view of kind of all the different problem setups that you can have and test your students on in terms of pop quizzes. And then, for example, this is, I'm towards the end of it. I can see I don't have any questions left anymore. You can see on the top here that, you have a designated time for when the exam would end. And so for right now, for demonstration purposes, I'm just going to click finish. And as I can see, the exam's been completed. So switching back to kind of the instructor view, I'm going to refresh this page. And yeah, as you can see for my other student, which is the college.edu account, which I just showcased, I answered 1 question correctly out of 4 questions. So that places my score at the 25th percentile. And it auto scores it. So the system is intelligent enough to recognize which questions the student answered correctly and compile that so that you can kind of see this infographic. Now with the student before, they didn't answer any questions correctly. But here, if you want to look at specific data in terms of exactly which questions the student answered correctly and what they answered wrong, you can actually click into the information. And we're still playing around with kind of the infographics, but here you can see all the back-ended code in terms of what they executed. So yeah, hope you enjoy this quick demonstration on some of the new functionalities that we're working on, and that, with our assessments functionality, we think that this will be a huge value add for instructors and users on our platform. So thank you very much for tuning in today, and see you next time.
And we're back for the closing portion of the first ever Coding Rooms weekly podcast.
Yeah.
That has been very technically challenging and
newfound respect for YouTubers, live streamers,
yes.
Everyone who has an online presence, really.
Yes. The most important part is our commitment to content creation and to communicating our vision, and the technical aspects of running a podcast will follow, we promise.
Yeah.
Let's close this week with the thought of the week.
Yeah, so thought of the week is just what it is really just, we'll try to make some of it positive, but just pretty much a slice into our life, just what's been going on with us. And, for this week, it's really just construction noises. They absolutely suck. They've been, for some reason, constructing all around our building. I don't know what they're doing, but they're drilling constantly, nonstop. Like, I keep thinking to myself, what needs to be drilled from the outside? Like, unless they're completely changing the complete tiling of the building on the outside, I can't think of any other reasonable, because we have no windows.
Yeah.
We're supposed to be like almost like a fishbowl. Like there's windows all around our office space,
yes,
but they're all blocked off with this kind of foamy film paper that.
Yeah. So, and in the midst of a pandemic as well, which has really been, it's been surprising to see how much renovation is happening at a lot of office buildings under COVID.
I think it's a good time to close roads because, lack of traffic or whatnot.
Exactly. So everything is under construction, including the entirety of our office building.
Yeah, and they said that will be ended like last month, but, we're now in this month.
Yeah.
Which they hopefully said will be done by November. Let's just keep our fingers crossed.
Yeah. So if you have a call with us and we're taking it from a noisy place, or it sounds like we're at a construction site, it's because we are.
It's because we are.
At our office. But hopefully that won't take too long to get resolved. And maybe we'll even have an update by next week on how this is going.
Yeah.
So,
well.
Until then, should we close? Until then.
Until then.
I'm Sasha from Coding Roots.
And I'm Angela, so we'll see you next week.
Yeah, see you next week.
Bye. Bye.